One of the questions I'm always asked is, which character played me in the movie? And I usually tell people I'm the handsome one. And they do exactly that. They laugh at me. I said it once and this lady goes, but after you know handsome. But that's the thing, you can always depend on Jamaicans to tell you exactly what they're thinking, A number of years ago, I was in the airport in Mobay. I'm standing on the line with my duffel bag from Nagano with the Olympic flag and the Jamaican colors and so on. And the security girl comes up and she goes, so what do you do for Jamaica? So I said, I was on the bobsled team, and her jaw dropped. Her eyes bulged, and she goes, geez, peace, you get so fat. She was like, remember you're about to get fatty? I don't know how you answer that, But I have to say, though, that although she was making fun of the fact that, since 1988, my waistline had probably grown this much, I was flattered. I was flattered that she remembered me. I was flattered that she was recalling something that I did, and it was all positive. Because Lord knows it could have turned out completely different. You see, you're seeing in front of you a man who has journeyed to the Olympic Games 3 times. But that journey, as was mentioned earlier, started in Olympic Gardens. Olympic Gardens is a part of Kingston that's bordered by Spanish Town Road, Bay Farm Road, Washington Boulevard in the north, on the eastern end by this imaginary line that connects Washington Boulevard to Spanish Town Road. The name is actually synonymous with Waterhouse, its most notorious enclave, a place that most people call Firehouse because it's volatile and it's fiery. Here are some newspaper clippings from back in the 1980s when I grew up in Olympic Gardens that speaks to the violent nature of the old neighborhood. So it was violent. I lived in Waterhouse, actually, the most notorious enclave. And I remember I often made jokes about how back in the 1980s, you remember that long election cycle, at nights when I didn't hear gunshots, it meant it was time to get up and get ready for school. So it was violent, and it was, as you know, impoverished. That's the house I grew up in, at 6 Sunrise Drive, Kingston 11. And as a teenager, I actually spent most of my time in school, from the time I was in 3rd form to 6th form, 6 days a week, either running track or doing school challenge, Arden. But when I was home, that lamppost outside my gate was my hangout spot. From that vantage point, I had a really good view of Forest Hills, filled with its mansions, its big, beautiful mansions. So that was kind of the environment that I grew up in as I embarked from Olympic Gardens to the Olympic Games in Calgary, Canada in 1988, Albertville, France in 1992, and Nagano, Japan in 1998. And so as we hang out here this afternoon, what I'd like to do is quickly share with you 6 ideas that I believe facilitated that journey. Ideas that I think you will find useful in your own journeys as well. So let's talk about them. The first one is that you have to decide what you want. Now, this is what I know. At some time or another, we all will find ourselves in our version of our Olympic Gardens. Yeah, some of us were born into families that were living on the wrong side of the tracks, but there are other persons who will lose their jobs, lose their homes, grapple with struggling businesses, find themselves in a dead-end career, end up in a broken or dysfunctional relationship, struggle with serious health issues. The list goes on. And the tendency in those situations is to ask, why? Why me? But I find that to be such a disempowering position from which to operate. The question you have to ask is, where do I go from here? What do I want? Because you see, the thing that keeps us stuck in our Olympic Gardens, not the enormous challenges. It's not the perceived lack of opportunities. It's not the lack of hope. It's not the despair. What keeps us stuck is the fact that amidst all the chaos and the turmoil, we don't take the time to find that one little spot, like my lamppost outside my gate, where we can look and we can get a sneak peek of the enormous opportunities that lies just outside our current realities. Too many people, far too many people, simply accept their lives as is. They foolishly believe that their past is an accurate predictor of their future. I think as human beings, we have this amazing ability to see in our mind's eye, and it's the greatest endowment perhaps the Creator has given us. We can visualize the environment that we have not yet experienced. We can dream about a life we have not yet lived. And so that's what I was doing by my little lamppost. I was visualizing, I was dreaming, I was deciding what I wanted. What I wanted, one of the things I wanted, was to be an officer in the Jamaica Defense Force. And would you believe it, 12 months after living in that shack, I moved up a little bit. This is New College. The general is here. He was actually my senior at Sandhurst. New College at the Royal Military Academy, Sandhurst. Only the most prestigious officer training school in the world. So they say, go as far as you can see. And when you get there, you'll see further. So from my vantage point, my lamppost, when I looked out beyond my current circumstances, the furthest I could see was the loftiness of the officer corps of the Jamaica Defense Force. And then I got there. I was 21 years old, and I'm thinking to myself, wow, so now I'm here, what next? Then I remember, oh yeah, the Olympics. So I recommitted myself to a decision I had made earlier to become an Olympic athlete. Now, I believed that I was going to be running 800 meters in the 1988 Olympics in Seoul, but Providence had different plans. And so 2 Americans who lived here, I think they were imbibing some of the more potent salts we have on the island. Who knows? I wasn't there, but they could have been enjoying some of the aromas we have as well, but that's another conversation. But they saw a push cart, thought it looked like bobsledding except for the ice. I cannot tell a lie. Approached the guys on the summer team to try and get them interested in this bobsled idea, and the response was, Bob, who? Man, we live in Jamaica, the only Bob we know is Bob Marley, and he's dead. No, thank you. So they came to the Army looking for athletes. My colonel at the time, Alan Douglas, suggested that I tried out for the team, and I did. So 3.5 years after living in that shack, I went from running on a gravel-strewn dirt track to sprinting on ice, creating history. So this is what I want to tell you as individuals. This is what I want to say to us as a people. You do not have to stay in Olympic Gardens if you don't want to. Your biography is not your destiny. Your decisions are. So that means you have to take 100% responsibility for your life. You have to take responsibility. See, I'm sure you can make a really compelling argument about how you being in Olympic Gardens, your Olympic Gardens, has had a really negative impact on your life. But I tell you this, the whining, the complaining, the justifying, until you stop that, you will remain powerless to do something about your situation. As they say, if it is to be, it's up to me. So your first responsibility, your first job in accepting personal responsibility is to acknowledge your situation. That doesn't mean that you're accepting that this is how it's always going to be. It doesn't mean that you're absolving yourself of the responsibility to make that decision. It doesn't mean that you're going to become complacent and not try to work to make things better. It simply means that this is your starting line. This is a point from which you launch onto your journey. There's a rather popular artist here, and he declares, circumstances make me what I am. And maybe I'm misunderstanding him, but I don't get it. I don't understand him because, yes, our circumstances do have a profound impact on us, but I also know this. Regardless of your circumstances, it is through your decisions, it is through your choices that you ultimately decide who you become. Any other path leaves you a victim of your circumstances. And as one noted author says, the victim mindset dilutes human potential. So when you take responsibility, you put yourself in the driver's seat, and that is a very powerful place from which to operate. And then you have to become clear about what it is about your why. You have to become clear about your why. See, people who are moving from their Olympic Gardens up to the Olympic Games, they are motivated to make it happen. They are motivated in such a way that they're able to take all the untapped, unlimited resources they have on the inside to create something truly amazing with the limited resources they have on the outside. So you have to get clear about what drives you, what motivates you, what it is that motivates you to take action. What is your why? I'm asked all the time, why did you join the army? Well, and the answer is simple. I wanted to get out of the ghettos. Not tomorrow. Not even today. Yesterday. You see, I can remember as a boy waking up one morning, looking up the barrel of a soldier's rifle. And I remember it so well, just feeling so helpless, so insignificant, so violated. And full disclosure, I've been on many of those operations when I served. But I remember that feeling. And I knew that if I could just make it out of Olympic Gardens, literally and figuratively, I'd be in a place where I'd be a person of significance. I would never, ever have to suffer that kind of humiliation and trepidation again. So my why was clear. My why was strong. And when I tried out for that bobsled team, it's the same thing. I'm a middle distance runner, not a sprinter. But I knew I wanted to make that team. I wanted to represent my country at the Olympic Games. That why was clear. It was strong. You see, we all get to that point in our lives, when we say, enough. Enough. Enough of this in my physical surroundings, enough of this in my finances, enough of this in the relationship, and in one magical moment, we make a decision, and it changes our lives. I've been using the word decide a lot. And I don't use it simply. Say the word decide, the Latin root of it means to cut off or to kill off. So when you cut off, when you kill off any opportunity except this is how it's going to be, you change your life. And you give rise, they call it the fire in the belly, right? So your goals and dreams don't become things that are nice to have. They are things that you absolutely have to have. And it drives you to believe that it is possible. So I was asked a while back, at what point in 1988 did you guys think that you would make it to the Olympics? No point. Didn't cross our mind that we would not make it. You have to believe that what you want is possible. You have to have a positive expectation that what you want is going to happen. As you make your way from Olympic Gardens, there's no doubt that your mind you'll be bombarded with doubts and fears and all sorts of negative thoughts. You'll be bombarded with thoughts like, man, this is so difficult. I can't lose the weight. I can't find the clients. I can't build a business. But here's the thing. If you just take a minute to analyze those thoughts, you'll discover that it's all within your control. It's not something that someone else or some other event controls. It is in your control. And although you may find yourself in the midst of loss and lack, know this. It's not about resources. It's about your resourcefulness. It's about your ability to dig deep. Each of us has that thing, I don't know how you define it, thing, that inspires us to try, that inspires us to take action. Number 5. So success is not just about being incredibly talented. It's not just about having big goals, being incredibly creative, all those things prove that you have the potential for greatness. But if you do nothing, you get nothing. If you do nothing, you leave yourself powerless and overwhelmed at your inability to achieve your potential. You leave yourself feeling like, you know what, maybe Olympic Gardens is my destiny. All of us have the ability, within reason, to accomplish what we want when we take action, when we take consistent action. When you take action, little by little, day by day, you experience a shift. You start getting small successes, and that builds confidence, it develops your competence, and it enables achievement. When you take action, you get the sense that things are getting better because you are doing something. And that creates an impetus for you to keep on pushing. Keep on pushing. That's what we do. That's how we do what we do when we go do what we do. We push. That sled weighs 650 pounds. So we have to keep on pushing. It's not one single action. It's a continuous effort to move that thing from 0 to 80 miles an hour in less than a minute. But it's the same with life, isn't it? Same with your life. You have to keep on pushing the obstacles that are standing between you and your goals. You have to keep pushing those people and those circumstances that are standing in your way, suggesting that you can't make it from Olympic Gardens. Those obstacles are tough, but if you keep on pushing, you'll get them out of your way, because you would have ensured that you don't let anyone or anything, for that matter, to limit or define your success. But so you keep on pushing, because it's persistence. It is enduring in the face of all obstacles. It's believing in yourself, having confidence in your abilities. The more you believe in your abilities, the more you persist. Because why else would you persist if you didn't believe in yourself? But the more you persist, the more you believe in yourself, you create an upward spiral. And when you couple that with courage, your success is virtually guaranteed. So, decide what you want. Take responsibility, 100% responsibility for your life. Get clear about your why. Believe that it's possible. Take action and keep on pushing. You've been such a gracious audience. Thank you very much. Thank you.